Wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Mary Eckler.
Yes.
Yes. And welcome to the Sanctuary for Spiritual Living. We are in Covina, California. Because we're on county property, fireworks are allowed in the area, so it's a little smoky today. And last night it was a little loud. So I wanted to say thank you to everyone that is here in the room, everybody showing up online, everybody celebrating, and everybody that has taken the time to come in and be part of this community. And also everyone that helped yesterday as we both set up and picked up after doing our little bit of fun in the parking lot last night. So I want to say thank you to to Amanda, who is our AV person today. She is up in the balcony doing AV, and thank God, because then you can see us and hear us. This is a good thing. Also wanting to say thank you very much to Danny Eckler, Danny Eckhart, who is on, you two have way too close names, who is online and doing our Facebook Manager today. So thank you. Yes, yay, Danny. And thank you to Mary Eckler. This is where my tongue slips right over. And Mary, I want to say an extra thank you too for bringing our wonderful Jackson Wright last Wednesday night. I have had a lot of comments from people watching online about how fabulous, everybody that came in the room, people watching online about how wonderful. And I've also got to say thank you to Amanda, because she did the sound for that, and it made it where online was a very good experience for a lot of people. So thank you. And if you haven't seen that concert yet, you can still go on to our Facebook page and see the concert from last Wednesday night. Thank you. Yeah. And thank you for Martha Bass. Thank you very much. Martha is doing our invocation today. She's our practitioner on duty, and she has just agreed to do the talk for us on the last Sunday of this month. Yes, this is wonderful. She is going to be taking my place while I am up at Asilomar. And so thank you very much. And I will be watching online because I want to know. So I'm looking forward to that. Martha gave our pre-service meditation, and she is going to be, after service, doing the prayers. And for anyone that would like to have private prayer, she will meet you at the west side of the sanctuary and be willing to pray with you for whatever might be your desire. And so that can be a concern that you want to see transformed. It can be something that is a dream that you are, or vision that you are working on for your life. And so I'm grateful. Today I'm also saying a thank you to Jim Montgomery, who is out barbecuing. Yes. And by Martha's popular request, it is hamburgers. So last barbecue we did pulled pork. Martha said, "Where are my hamburgers?" So here we are. I want to remind you that our practitioners, we have 22 people, practitioners and ministers, 6 practitioner emeritus, that do our ministry of prayer, and spiritual support is just a click away. And you can also send me a text message, and I'm happy to pass those on. So let us know. We do have a vision statement. It is on the front of our program, and Danny is putting it up online right now. And so if you would say it with me. We are a vibrant, loving community and an inspirational resource for spiritual awakening and personal growth. And that is what we are. I have one last thank you, and that is to Linda and her sister and all of the people that have been helping coordinate food today. I just want a blessing. Thank you very much, and delighted to see you all. This is wonderful. Yes, I'm waving at people as they're coming in the door. This is perfect. I love it. So it's time for our song of the month, which is, we have a new month, we have a new song.
We do.
Yeah, and it is?
Presence of the Spirit. How many people know Presence of the Spirit?
Not me, not yet.
I didn't either, so it's a new song. So let's learn it together, shall we? Shall we?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it is a sing-along.
Okay, so we'll just learn it line by line. It goes like this. It's, I got the presence of the Spirit in me. Let's try that. I got the presence of the Spirit in me. I got the presence of the Spirit in me. I've got the presence of the Spirit in me. I've got the presence of the Spirit. I've got the presence of the Spirit. And I want the world to hear it. And I want the world to hear it. I got the presence of the Spirit in me. I got the presence of the Spirit in me. Here we go. I got the presence of the Spirit in me. I got the presence of the Spirit in me. I got the presence of the Spirit, and I want the world to hear it. I got the presence of the Spirit in me. Again, I got the presence of the Spirit in me. I got the presence of the Spirit in me. I got the presence of the Spirit, and I want the world to hear it. I got the presence of the Spirit in me. I got the joy. I got the joy of the Spirit in me. I got the joy of the Spirit in me. I got the joy of the Spirit, and I want the world to hear it. I got the joy of the Spirit in me. I got the love. I got the love of the Spirit in me. I got the love of the Spirit in me. I got the love of the Spirit, and I want the world to hear it. I got the love of the Spirit in me. I got the peace. I got the peace of the Spirit in me. I got the peace of the Spirit in me. I got the peace of the Spirit, and I want the world to hear it. I got the peace of the Spirit in me. Power. I got the power of the Spirit in me. I got the power of the Spirit in me. I got the power of the Spirit, and I want the world to hear it. I got the
Everybody looks so nice and festive. That's beautiful. Welcome. I was going to share the news that I will be a guest speaker on July 26th, but you already know, so I hope you could put it on your calendar and join me that day. It will be such a pleasure to share such an inspired message of just, part of the things that I have learned through my life in Centers for Spiritual Living. Before I forget, we have an affirmation. If you could join me, it's in the first page of your program. And let's read it together. Today, I will be affirmative. I am going to live and be happy today. I'm going to receive joy and life and love and laughter from everyone. And I'm going to give them the same. Everyone is divine to me. This is the day the Lord has made, and I am glad in it. All is well. From Ernest Psalm. Thank you. So let's take a moment to settle in. If you could join me, if you feel comfortable closing your eyes. And as we begin, let us just take a moment to simply arrive. Take a nice deep breath. And to remember there is something sacred happening every time we gather together in community. Today we acknowledge that there is one presence, one infinite love, one divine intelligence, expressing itself through each and every one of us. A presence that guides us, supports us, and reminds us that we are never alone. And before we move forward, I would love to pause in gratitude. Gratitude to Reverend Kress for her leadership, her heart, and her dedication. Gratitude to the musicians, practitioners, volunteers, greeters, and all of the beautiful souls, both seen and unseen, who help make this service possible each week. It takes many hearts to create a space where people can come exactly as they are and feel welcomed, supported, and loved. Today we are grateful for each person here because every one of you is part of this divine unfolding. Your presence matters. As we enter this service, may we open our hearts a little wider. May we release whatever we carried in through those doors. May we remember that we are worthy, whole, and deeply loved. May we open to new insights, new possibilities, and deeper awareness of the divine presence that is always expressing itself as our lives. And may we live today feeling more connected to ourselves, to one another, and to the presence that lives within us all. And together we affirm, and so it is. Amen.
I need you to sing with me. I know you guys know this. Woody Guthrie. Let's see. This land is your land. This land is my land. From the California to the New York Island. From the redwood forests to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. And this land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. And all around me a voice was sounding that this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forests to the Gulf Stream waters. Well, this land was made for you and me. dust clouds rolling. A voice was chanting as the fog was lifting. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the redwood forests to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Well, this land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me.
Very fun. There's a line in a verse in that that's not always sung, and it's something about he saw a sign that said no trespassing, but he noticed when he got on the other side of it, the back was blank. I'm like, oh, you are just a rebel. So I did bring some visual aids today, so we may see me reaching down here for a reason later. Are you curious now? What does she have in her bag? You'll see. Okay, so here we are on the 5th of July, and we're celebrating something that happened 250 years ago. And I want to say whether you've been looking forward to this celebration because it's such a big thing for us to have made this milestone, or if you are carrying mixed feelings about it and about the state of the world that's around us. And I would just want you to know that my focus this entire month, starting last Sunday, is going to be on the Declaration of Independence and of the divine ideals that are woven into it. Because I think we always need to be revisiting the vision. And one of the things that I know about vision, first off, the Bible tells us that without vision the people perish. So we know how important it is for us to be looking at what is the vision for the country. And then it is important for us to realize that vision is something that draws us. And what I notice is that when we're not guided by vision, we fall into division, and that it becomes hard for us to get together and talk. And so the other piece about vision is that it's forever evolving, because we come to these divine ideals through a feeling level that gives us inspiration. And as we contemplate those ideas, they become more and more clear to us. And sometimes what's going on is that we see something happening in the world, and it makes us think about those in a new way. It expands our awareness. And last week, I talked about the simple word at the beginning of the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution, which is we, and about how that term has expanded over the 250 years to be more and more and more inclusive. And so if you're curious about that talk, look back at Facebook from last week. But I think it's easy for us to say now that we use that term in a different way than we did 250 years ago, or that the people did that wrote the Declaration of Independence. So I'm going to be, over the next 3 weeks, focusing on a phrase in the second sentence. Am I wordsmithing too much? It's just like getting caught by one word and letting it float around inside me and find out what I know and then go do research on it. Yeah, that's my nature. So it's called fixation. But what I notice is that the second sentence of the Declaration of Independence, which I'll be reading in just a moment, that sentence has been called by people who have been thoughtful about governance one of the greatest sentences ever written. As a matter of fact, I've been reading a book by that name. But as I look it up in other places, I see that it was extremely influential in the world 250 years ago. And that's the phrase about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that idea in a time where governance was by kings caught on. It was it had been something that had been being talked about. And I think it's important for us to know that Thomas Jefferson, who wrote the first draft of the Declaration of Independence, that he said, I didn't say anything new. He and the 5 people that edited, or the 4 other people that edited the Declaration before presenting it to the Continental Congress, said that they were working with ideas that were already being brought forward, that these ideas particularly came from England, of all places, a man named John Locke, but other philosophers too, who were looking at governance and what was the purpose of governance, why was it brought forward, what is it supposed to do, what's the vision of how it can be. And so the terminology, slightly altered, had also been put into a couple, and I want you to remember that 250 years ago, we were individual colonies, each one having its own governance to some degree, and several of them had already written declarations of independence and had our human rights statements. And so they begin to collect this together and write. And the original writing was done by Thomas Jefferson, but there was a committee, and most people will tell you that committees very seldom come up with anything very good. But that's not true, and we do know that because when we work together in harmony for a higher good, something magnificent happens. And so the other people on the committee were John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Roger Sherman, and Robert Livingston. 2 of those men, both Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin, were deists. And that meant that they had a different take on God than the people that were more in the standard religion of the time. So I just passed that along because Franklin is known for when he was in the White House, he actually took the Bible, and because he was a deist, he took out all of the miracles, all the things that are claimed to be supernatural, and instead read the words of Jesus and based what he was concerned with or what he wanted as spiritual practice to be about the words, the ideas that were being put forward. So I just passed that along because they had a different take than what might be realized today. And I think that's worthy of some note too. So we have a country that is based on ideals, not on personality, not on religion, and not on a tribal idea of what's possible. That is what is embraced in both the Declaration of Independence and in the Constitution. And because of that, it is worthwhile for us to consider what are these ideals, what do they really mean, how do we stand for them, and what can we learn? Now, because they're spiritual in nature, each one has an understanding that can deepen for all of us. And today I'm going to be looking at life. But before I do that, I do want to read to you the first couple of lines of the Declaration of Independence. So remember that at this time, the colonies have been chafing under taxation without representation because there are no people in the English Parliament that represent the United States. What becomes the United States, pardon me, it's not there yet, but the 13 colonies are not represented. They don't have any elected office to influence what is going on. So there's been a war going on, and wars often cause financial concerns, don't they? We notice that. And so I'm sorry, I just sent somebody to the floor with that line. So we do notice, it's like a war costs money, doesn't it? And there was the French and Indian War going on, where the French colonies in Canada were fighting the British colonies in what became the U.S., and they had enlisted the Native Americans, and what had happened was that Britain had sent a whole bunch of people to fight, which later became known as the Redcoats, but they sent all these soldiers to fight, but you have to house them someplace. They have to live somewhere. They put them into people's homes. You also have to feed them, and you need to pay them a salary. And so what ended up happening was that they were taxing the colonies to pay for this war. And there was no representation about that. And there was a tax on everything. There was a tax on having any official document stamped to show that it was official. There was a tax on tea. Everything was taxed. And the colonies were feeling it was a burden, and that they were suffering from that. Plus, they were suffering from other things that were going on. And trust me, we were sort of grouchy. There's something like 17 complaints in the Declaration of Independence, because there was an idea that we needed to tell the world what it was that was the problem. And so we have like 17 complaints. That's why I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, although some of them might sound familiar to you now. And I have to tell you, when I read this, how revolutionary and, how really strong these words are. And they are here to unite the colonies at that time, and when we read them today and have the influence of what is happening in our own lives today, we may hear them in a different way than we did if we read them 20 years ago. So it's, I'm just like, they are really a call to have the people, because there were people in the colonies that felt that we should stay under England's rule. Who would we be without a king? And they need to persuade them, but they also need to take their place in the world. And the Declaration of Independence is about a justification to the world, not just to King George and the English, but to the entire world, a declaration that we are coming forward as a country and that we deserve to be seen as a sovereign state. So these are pretty wild words. It says, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. So there's your justification. We're going to tell you all the complaints. That's a little bit later. I'm not reading those. This is the sentence that I'm focused on, and this is the one that has been so influential in the world. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the next 3 talks. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. This is important because it's not only do we have the rights, but we have to have a governance that respects these ideals as their job. Is that interesting? Consequently, you have a Department of Health and Human Resources and stuff like that, you know? So that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light or transient causes. And accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer. Just think about the fact that you'll oftentimes stay in a situation that doesn't help you because it's easier than trying to change it. Mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and upsurgence, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them until under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. These guys are really radical, aren't they? It's like we've suffered enough. We now need to transform. And I would tell you that began this experiment that we call the United States of America's government. And that every 2 years we're voting on something, and it is creating the tugs and pulls and the conditions that modify and direct the government. And that's the reason that your representation, your vote, is so important, because that and your ability to speak directly by letter or even phone calls to your representatives allow you to influence the direction of the government. And that's our job as citizens. So we need to contemplate what's it mean, because what we have done every time we vote, what we do is broaden this social contract that we are in, which is exactly what government is. That's where we're saying this is how we want to be with each other. This is how we want to treat each other. And so this one of the terms, both the term social contract and common good, have really attracted my attention lately to consider the events that have been going on. And so we enter this social contract with each other with an eye to what is the common good? What is the good for all of us? And I noticed that there is a role that fear plays. Because you see, if we are not looking at the vision and not looking at the spiritual ideals, we may fall into fear of each other. We may fall into fear of who we think are other, who we think are different than we are. And I wrote down a note. You know, I'm listening to stuff and reading stuff, and I wrote down a note, and I don't remember who said this, but it's not my words, but they caught my attention because they're real. So whoever this person was, they said, if you are afraid of your neighbor, your focus is not on your growth or the growth of the common good. So it's like if I'm afraid of somebody else, if I've made them other, if I've taken them out of this definition of we, then I begin to want to create in this social contract something that allows me to feel safe. This is why the spiritual work is consistently about moving ourselves into a higher way, a higher understanding of who we are and what we are to do. So here's this phrase: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And today I'm looking at life as it's referred to in the Constitution or in the Declaration of Independence. And at that point, life included the idea of a right to health and well-being, a right to the security of a person. This is the reason that laws were instituted in the Constitution later that said that you had the right of habeas corpus, that you had the right, that all people in the United States had the right of law, not of personalities. And so these ideas of what does life mean and what was included in it, and how do we deal with this idea of a common good, and you know, the public health system is part of what has been instituted as a way of being respectful of life. And so I think it's important for us to note that, because that idea of a public good and having doctors being able to influence the policies that ensure that we are safe are important. So let's look at life. What's it mean? And Ernest Holmes defined life in the Science of Mind textbook, because you know, sometimes I look at these words, we use them all the time, it's like, what does that really mean, right? And Holmes took some ideas from Thomas Troward and made them his own. And so I want to talk about that a little bit, because I'm also a deep fan of Thomas Troward. And so both of these men determined that life actually has to do with both energy and as power and this sort of expression that is who we are. And so if you take it down to, Thomas Troward loved the idea that atoms were like vibrating around and everything, and that gave us a way of understanding life, because all has this vibration of life within it, everything, because that's God present in everything. And so part of that, he said, the first way of understanding it is the mineral kingdom. So this is a rose quartz. And Troward said that, guess what? Every molecule in this quartz vibrates with the same life that is in your body. That everything that's in here is actually moving at a speed that we can hardly see or understand. And so he thought that the first piece of life, or first expression of life that we could understand, had to do with the mineral kingdom. And he called it a kingdom. And so the idea that there's full life in here, that it lacks something, though, that becomes important. Because you see, this stone didn't say to me this morning, Chris, why don't you take me to church? I said, gee, I need a representation of a stone, and I think I have a good one. So I took it, perhaps against its own will. And I don't even know, I know this stone came from my older brother's property in Northern California. I don't know where he got it. So it got moved around, not necessarily by its own will, but by the will of people. And that choice, and the fact that the stone is choiceless, is one of the pieces about life. Now, there's a vibration in this and an energy, and we understand that and we respect that. And so I really want you to understand that all of us that are wearing crystals, go for it, honey, because there is life in it. The next representation, I decided I would use the beautiful flowers that are in front of me. These happen to be representative of real flowers. They're not real flowers. But the next kingdom is the plant kingdom. And one of the things about the plant kingdom, it's got an equal amount of vibration, an equal amount of life, and it has a little bit of choice because plants can look towards the sun. And if you've ever seen sunflowers, they look towards the sun in the morning in the east, and during the day, they follow it until they're looking to the west. But they don't move unless you cut them and bring them in. So that space, again, they show a little more consciousness, a little more ability to determine what they want to do. But again, they don't get up and move around without somebody else making that happen. And so that limits their volition, their amount of choice. And it appears the consciousness of that. Now again, I could have brought one of my cats in, but he told me no. So I brought in a representation of a cat, who's a very cute guy, who wakes me up every morning. So this is a representation of a cat, and it's a representation of the animal kingdom. And the animal kingdom certainly has a lot more volition than the plant or the rock. And in some days, I think the cats run my house, which is meaning that I'm just not as conscious as I ought to be, because it's supposed to be the other way around, but hey, who knows? So the animal, according to Troward, runs primarily on intuition. Now, those of you that love your pets and love the animal kingdom may think they're smarter than we are. That could be true. I'm just reporting what has been taught, okay? So don't talk to me afterwards about the fact that your pet is smarter than I am, because I know that, okay? But what happens in the animal kingdom is that they tend to work towards instinct. They have a lot more volition, a lot more ability to check out the world and to move around the world. They may intuit danger and react to that by hiding or going someplace else. So they have a lot more volition. But again, the self-consciousness, the ability to make decisions about how they are governed, may or may not be 100%, okay? So I myself am representing all of us in the human race. We're the next kingdom, and it's the human kingdom, and that kingdom is one of self-consciousness, the ability to be aware. And for Ernest Holmes, when he is talking about this idea of life, he talks about the human having both volition and self-will, and that comes out of our ability to consider our own situations, to have our own awarenesses. And so we have the same amount of energetic happening as all the other kingdoms, as far as what our cells are, as far as what life is, and yet we also have the ability to choose and how we're going to be in the world, and what we're going to do, and how we're going to do how we're going to use our resources, and how we're going to treat each other, and how we're going to think about each other. And it's through that we rise above what appear to be the other kingdoms. That ability to think and to allow that thinking to determine our movement and our being in the world. However, there is one more kingdom that both Holmes and Troward speak to. And again, using a symbol, I have brought an angel, because this last kingdom is called the cosmic kingdom. And that kingdom is based on the idea that we can move and learn about unity, about oneness. And this is where we want to understand what life means itself. Ernest Holmes says that life is the animating principle of being. It is that inner something that makes everything live. Life and power are necessary attributes of a limitless being and go hand in hand to complete a perfect being. Life is that which lives and powers the energy which it operates. Consider life and power as a combined unity of causation. See, we have the ability to create through our thought. And when we do that from principles, spiritual principles, and move towards higher visions of ourself, we are creating the world that we want to live in. Holmes says that in man, life expresses in terms of volition and self-will. It is manifested at the level of self-consciousness. And as this self-conscious state of man's mentality reaches a larger world of realization and comprehends something of its unity with the whole, we say that it is in a cosmic state, the angel state. Because you see, the angel state begins to recognize not just the individualization of life, that is me, but it also recognizes this that is the unity of life, which is the we, and begins to understand the transcendent nature of life, which is the divine, which is that connection on the web of life that we see and sense and know in some way, and which we can expand on. When we work with that, we begin to understand how we want to treat each other. We begin to understand that we each are both individual and that there's something mystical going on, that we are connected. And then we start to think about this common good in a new way. Because the common good no longer is just me. The common good becomes about the good of the all. It becomes about the freedom that we all want to share. It becomes about the joy that we want to experience. And that's when we start to look around and to realize that no matter who it is that is in front of us, that in their heart of hearts, they want the same things we do. They want the same thing I do. That in their heart of hearts, they want to be safe. In their heart of hearts, they want to be healthy. In their awareness, they want to have their families be safe. They want their families to be healthy. They want to have the freedom to express who they are. Because life vibrates in such a way that it says we should be about something more. We should be about something, expressing something more completely. Holmes says every person represents an individualization of the universal wholeness, the love and peace, the joy and freedom of spirit. We have a divine right to be the masters of our own faith. We have a divine right to rise above fear, impoverishment, and disease. We understand that the power of the Spirit expresses through every atom of our being now, in this moment. And so we start to understand that this life, this atom, this thing that vibrates in every aspect of creation that is within us, also wants to express itself in some way through us, as us, and that we're the only ones that can bring that into being. And so the question is, if life is sacred, if this is really about the divine expression, then how do we treat ourselves? How do we treat each other? How do we care for ourselves, and how do we care for each other? And as we expand our idea of who is important that we're caring for, and it certainly starts with our family, but we also begin to want to increase that and to see it in all of the community that we live in. And then we begin to realize that this community is part of a greater community, part of a greater community. And we expand. You know, we may start out saying, well, gee, I'm, just a local kid and I want my city to do well. But then we say, oh, if my county doesn't do well, my city can't do well, so I need my county to do well too. And then perhaps we say the state has to do well. And then it's like, well, if the country's not doing well, the state's not going to do well, the county's not going to do well, the city's not going to do well, I'm not going to do well. And so I need to be sure that that's happening too. And then we realize this is not just about the country that I have my allegiance to, but that in fact the world family needs to do well for us to do well. And so we begin to expand our understanding about how we are hooked together and about what that means. Robin Myers, who wrote Saving God from Religion, I love that title, said, being made in the image and likeness of God does not make us a little lower than the angels, we have her over here, or require that we knock on heaven's door to ask for special favors. But it does mean that sooner or later, when we knock, we will all get invited inside. We are the very image of God, and our treatment of one another is our treatment of God. See, that's a real important factor when it comes to transforming how am I thinking about the person that's in front of me. This God is pure relationship, and when we get invited in, we should not be surprised that there is nothing we have to offer that has not already been offered to us. And so it's like that divine love that I want to express out, it came in me first. The kingdom of heaven, that love that is the compassion that can exist, brings out that idea that we are more. Michael Beckwith said, our life is the life of the eternal. We are the image and likeness of God. This means we have the capacity to think independently of our circumstances and conditions, and out of nothing, to bring a whole new causation in our life, one that demonstrates more good, more joy, more love, more peace, more harmony, and more health. And so that's the power that we are given to create our own life through our thought, through our self-consciousness that can rise us up not only to heal our own world and our own body and our own minds and come into a greater harmony with our families, but also to affect the nature of our city, our county, our state, our country, our world. And so we hold this vision to bring it about and to make it bigger. And what I want you to understand is we're not the only people holding that vision. Because you see, tomorrow is the Dalai Lama's birthday. Don't you like that? I mean, I think it's wonderful. I was blessed to literally sit at the feet of the Dalai Lama because he was on stage and I was in the third row back from the stage. And so, yes, I was right there, but I was blessed to spend 3 days with him learning. And what he taught, I could translate into the science of mind. And I thought that was wonderful, that what we think actually creates our world. And when we catch ourselves in thoughts that are opposite to divine ideals, we can course correct and begin to adjust who we are and what we do. You see, the Dalai Lama he's going to be 91. I think that's pretty cool. And he was originally born in a small village in Tibet, and the 13th Dalai Lama had passed away, and what they do in Tibet and what they do in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition is that they look for the next leader. And they take things, items that were the previous Dalai Lamas, and they mix them up with similar items like glasses. So they had the glasses that the previous Dalai Lama wore, and they had 2 other sets. And they look for where the Dalai Lama has been reincarnated. So they're looking in villages that are have babies, and at 2 years old, they're putting in front of these babies items from the previous one, and they say if this child can actually pick the Dalai Lama's items out of it, we know that they're the next one. And this guy picked them all, 2 years old. Yeah, I know, isn't that something? It's like, those are my glasses. I remember those from the last life, you know? So at that point, they picked this baby, this 2-year-old baby, to become the next Dalai Lama. And they begin to be sure that he and his mother were well cared for. At 4 years old, they actually enthroned him. This is in 1940. And he had a governing council, and he was being trained by the other lamas and Tibetan leaders. And when he was 15, he was acclaimed the leader of the country. He was both the religious and political leader of Tibet. And that was also just as China was beginning to assert control over Tibet. And Tibet had always used their mountains and the beauty of their environment to protect them from invaders, but it didn't work with the Chinese. And so because they teach compassion and they don't have they didn't think they had a need for a standing army, they attempted first to work with the Chinese, and the Dalai Lama did enter into negotiations and into agreements. The unfortunate thing was that the Chinese government didn't keep those, and finally, in 1959, he had to escape from Tibet and from his home to be able to live. And so he and different leaders in his government left in the middle of the night. It's quite a journey and quite an escape story. He has since been living in India, and he has worked to bring about the idea of compassion, mindfulness, and interfaith harmony. And he's really big on the interfaith work, and he has done amazing things to create conversations and dialogues. He received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989, and that was for his nonviolent struggle for Tibet and emphasizing the dialogue over conflict. And this is an important thing, his dialogue, be willing to talk, to come to a higher understanding. That gives us a point of how we can be in this world when we are in conflict with another, is that we can enter into dialogue to listen to what are their concerns and to learn how to express my own concerns so that we can hear each other. He's had a lot of deep conversations with scientists, and because of that, he has influenced the ideas of science, but they have also influenced him. And he called these conversations mind and life dialogues, and they help bring compassion, meditation, and consciousness studies into serious scientific discussions. And so what he said is the key to a happier and more successful world is the growth of compassion. And compassion goes right along with the concept of unity, because when I begin to know that you are not other, I can bring compassion to your situation as if it were happening to me. And I can begin to care in a different way. This doesn't mean that I give up the vision of higher. It means that I'm aware of the suffering. The Dalai Lama said, we have a universal responsibility to change the course of history, to guide it in a more positive direction, a universal order that works for the welfare of the whole of humankind and all sentient beings. Such a civilization with a heart, a planetary society animated by the deepest values of the human family, selfless love, compassion, kindness, non-harming, sharing, and the elimination of poverty, homelessness, disease, hunger, domestic violence, and weapons of mass destruction can become an actuality even in our lifetime if we are willing to work for it. We have this responsibility both individually and collectively, and this responsibility extends to the whole earth itself. We can envision it, then we have an alternative. And so my point today is that the vision for this country and for our world are intertwined. And we want to carry that higher vision, not to be distracted by the things that happen getting us to that vision. Because one of the things that I'm aware of is when something happens that I am struck by, upset by, and disturbed by, that it calls me to a higher prayer, a higher understanding, and a higher concentration of what I believe freedom and life and the good, the happiness of all mean. And so I think it is important for us to be willing to take a look at that higher understanding. As I bring things to a conclusion today, I want to talk about healing, because this place of power and energy that is life, this place of the movement, oftentimes we don't realize that we are susceptible to wounding the personal body and experiencing illness and things that go along with that. And so Ernest Holmes gave us a key for how we can do this. Because sometimes when you get a diagnosis, it's so compelling that you forget who you are above that diagnosis. Sometimes when we're in life circumstances that are so compelling that we lose our faith and instead are delving into the energy of fear. And this simple statement can bring us back, because we don't have to get caught in what's wrong, how did this happen, what is the causation. What we can do is know the truth. And so Ernest Holmes told us to use this simple statement, and we've sung this, and Jorge's in the audience. He created a sign for us that I was going to pull out today, but then lost track of. I know it's in the back room. But this simple statement, I want us to remember, there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. That has been put to music. I don't know if you remember the thing to it, but do you remember that well enough that I could just call on you right in this moment and say, hey, let's sing this for a couple of rounds so that we can allow that wisdom to come into our being. And so there's only one life. That life is God's life. It's God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. When I have had sudden phone calls about diagnoses for people, that I have been away and not able to run to the hospital, and I have felt helpless and useless. I have sung that song with that person's name in it, and everything has worked to bring the best for them. And I just want you to know that you are never useless and you are never alone and you are never apart from the people that you care for. When you remember that there's only one life, that life is God's life, that life is perfect, and that life is taking place not only in my experience personally, because when I sing this for another, I say that life is that person's life right now. And when I do that, it brings me out of the fear, back into the faith, allows me to be above the appearances, and allows the appearances to shift, because the appearances are fluid. Cindy, I was thinking about, Cindy came into town one time from her daughter's move to wherever it was she went to college. I'm sorry, but she's on a train. She comes through Los Angeles, which is not the best area of the town on the train station, and she looks up in the middle of the night, and there's an electrified sign that says, "Concrete is fluid." Please remember that what you think is solid is all of these atoms moving around, and that they are fluid. You're not trapped. Life is consistently moving into a higher expression. I invite you to remember that, and to remember that we have a power to create the world that we live in, the governance of our country and of our state and of our cities. And we have the power to make a difference by holding a vision of what life really is. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for that unexpected delight.
Absolutely, absolutely, anytime. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Everyone deserves a life of freedom. Freedom, freedom. We all share this world. Every father, every mother, every sister, every brother. Sorry, guys. Clap your hands for me. I don't know, maybe it's the smoke from the fireworks or something. It's weird. Every father, every mother, every sister, and every brother, we're a part of one another. Yes, every living thing was born in freedom. Freedom, freedom. We all share this world. And you were born to live a life of freedom. Freedom, freedom. Everyone deserves a life of freedom. Freedom, freedom. We all share this world. Every father, every mother, every sister, and every brother, everybody, every person. Yes, every living thing was born in freedom. Freedom, freedom. of freedom. So jump on the peace train. Let's take a journey to come together and show some mercy. Come on now, love is the fuel. It's free for the taking, and love is the product that we should be making. Come on now, we'll jump on the peace train. Let's take a journey to come together and show some mercy. Come on now, love is the fuel that we should be taking, and love is the product that we should be making. Come on now, freedom, freedom, freedom. Everyone deserves a life of freedom. Freedom, freedom. We all share this world. 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 You were born to live a life of freedom. Freedom.
Very nice. Let's take a moment to simply know that God is present. That in fact there is only one life. That life is God's life. That it is perfect. And that it is my life and the life of every person, place, and thing. That this life permeates all of creation because it is the only thing creation can be made from. That the vibration of this one life is whole, perfect, and complete. That this vibration is filled and based on divine love. That the compassion that love brings forward when we contemplate the wholeness and our interrelationship to it, that experience of compassion is the experience of God. That's where we know spirit in our daily life. When we love, we bring forward the divine. It is the passion that allows for that spark of creation to remain lit and to bring forward vision. For there's a divine ideal in the mind of God for every person, place, and thing, for every country, for every city, for every part of this beautiful planet. And that vision must be one of vibrancy, of life itself, because this is part of the life of God. This ground is holy ground, for it vibrates with all of the love of God. In this moment, I know that we are harmonized as we remember for ourselves first that we are part of the divine, that we are made in the image and likeness of God. And then as we know that for all, We rise above the appearances. We rise above the events to be able to see a pattern of perfection that is unfolding. Gently, I know in this very moment that there is good happening, that there is a vision happening, being brought forward, modified, and increased in its good. In this moment, I speak a word of blessing on this planet, this place that I so love. The holiness of it is recognized. In this moment, I bring forward a blessing to all who have come today with a hope of healing. For I know that every prayer that has been said in the quiet moments of mind is known by the mind of God, and that it is answered. In this moment, I send forward a blessing to humankind in general and in particular to people of goodwill. For I know the statement, peace on earth and goodwill to all. And so I know gently and deeply that there is a blessing happening in this time, in this place. We send forward a blessing to all of the world religions, every church and synagogue, every temple and mosque, every Guru Dawada, every Sangha, every house of worship, and every sacred place in nature that is a sanctuary. We bless this, our own home, a sanctuary for spiritual living, as we vibrate with an energy that attracts to us our own. We know there is great work in this world for us to do, and in this moment, we simply ask to be prepared.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, and tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
And so with a deep sense of gratitude for the life of God that lives itself as our lives now, a deep sense of gratitude for the love of God that has been placed in our hearts so that we may experience and express it, and a deep sense of gratitude for the creative power of God that takes this word and makes it form. I release this gently into the law with love, knowing in peace it is done, and so it is. Amen. So in this moment, it's time for our offering. And I would ask our ushers to come forward. And who's joining you, George? It's just you? Well, you can do it? Okay, George can do this. Jim is barbecuing for you. That's why there's only one usher. Unless we want to run and get another, do you want to get another usher? Yeah, yeah. I know you can do it, and Martha wants to help you. Martha likes the idea of collecting money for the good of this church. Besides, it gives me just a moment to say, and by the way, we are on the way for our sanctuary, for the solar project. We need to collect about 12,000 more, and so I'm watching us chip away at that 15,000 matching funds, and I remind you, we have to have created those 15,000, all of that 15,000 to get all of it. And so we're working on that now, and I want to thank everybody for your participation, no matter what is the amount, because it's matched. So if you give us 10, it's 20. If you give us 50, it's 100. If you give us 1,000, it's 2,000. And so I am, again, saying thank you. We got news from Edison that they've approved the final steps to the project. I'll be finding out Monday about when installation is. We're on the way. Let's do our affirmation. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and belief. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
So we have a new song of the month while we're having fun collecting the abundance. This song is called Holy Ground. You guys have the words in your program. I'm sure you guys have it online too. It goes like this. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for I walk in God. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for the power and the presence of pure spirit makes my path gentle and easy. So pretty. Gentle, easy. Sing with me. Gentle, easy. Let's try it from the beginning. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for I walk in God. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for the power and the presence of pure spirit makes my path gentle and easy. Gentle, easy. Gentle, easy. Gentle, easy. Thank you, everybody.
That's
Pretty.
sweet.
Isn't that pretty?
That's sweet.
It's sweet.
Yeah. I'm noticing the words are by Maggie Buck, and the music is Jennifer Russell. So how nice.
Yeah.
All right. Quick announcements. First off, Jan has a birthday Wednesday, right? Oh, Jan's going maybe. I don't know. So we have a number of birthdays this week because also Larry Milan has a birthday on Friday. We're sending out a shout out to Larry. Happy birthday. And Diane Glock has a birthday on Saturday, along with Vicki Winchell. Did you know that you share the birthday with Vicki? Yeah. So happy birthday to everybody this time. And I want to say thank you again for everything that's going on. We have a Board of Trustees meeting the 28th. I want to remind you today we have a wonderful seminar on archetypes and the goddess. It's Grace, and we're going to be working with the archetype of Mother Mary. It's going to be fabulous, and I encourage you to come. If you have not signed up, I made copies for you anyway, so just come on in. It's going to be in about an hour. It'll be at 1:15. So, and we do visioning this coming Saturday, so if you're, we moved it because of the holiday, so if you want to come for visioning, it is this Saturday at 10 o'clock. And our next summer concert is on Wednesday, July 15th at 7. It's Jennifer Hart, who always does a great job of both sharing an artist and their history about how they're, and the influence of their music. So that's where we are. Let's sing the peace song. So it's time to stand. We face the back wall to be able to wave to all of our online friends. And here we go.
There be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Wonderful is happening through me right now. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in my body. And life is in my affairs. Life is in my affairs. I think it. I feel it. I know it. And I accept it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it is not. Thank you, life.